Hi everyone, Alistair Davies here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is all about creating backspin with soft pitches, long chips, however you want to refer to them, but basically getting the ball to kind of land and stop pretty quickly, whether that's a check up or an actual spin back. Now there are lots of variables in this becoming reality. So the equipment you use, obviously the grooves being nice and clean and sharp, no moisture on the face, no moisture on the ball, the right kind of surface. Now today, the slight disclaimer is, we've had a lot of rain here in the UK. The fairways are really wet. There's a lot of moisture getting between the ball and the face. The greens are particularly wet. Even though we got good drainage here on the greens, we've had just so much rain, triple the amount of rain we normally would have. So creating backspin will be difficult, but creating checks should be okay. So I'm going to try and show you all the principles that go along with creating that kind of one-stop check-in shot, the pitfalls within it, and how you can be more consistent when doing it. So keep watching to learn how, and we'll get right to it. So this backspinning pitch shot, we're going to show you the principles that make it more probable that you're going to do this every single time, the pitfalls, and how you can do a couple of little exercises to improve your pitching action generally to hit better pitch shots. So the three keys for me are really about the arm actions we go through, the stance, and the radius. Those are the three main keys. We also have to strike it correctly too, and we have to strike it lower in the face. So striking it in the bottom couple of grooves in the face is going to help us get what we call vertical gear effect and make the ball spin more. So that kind of ties into the radius, and we'll get stuck into that a bit more in a second. Let's start with the stance. So when we go to play a pitch shot, I want to see you have a very narrow stance. Now a narrow stance is going to basically decrease the speed compared to a full swing. We do not need as much speed as a full swing. This is only a kind of 40-yard pitch shot. However, we do need enough speed to create spin. So adding loft and adding speed creates spin. Hitting it in the low part of the face gives us that low launching spinning shot that we're looking for. So the combination of all these three things help. So we're going to start with a narrow stance, and you'll see here I'm about 2 club head widths apart, and I'm also going to lean my weight slightly towards the lead side, about 60%. My knees are slightly rotated into an open fashion, but they're really just pressed forward to keep that weight a little bit more on the lead side. Now, the key thing I want to see you do in the action is feel like your elbows are soft. So your elbows feel like they really are quite stuck to the rib cage, both sides of the swing. Let the grip overtake the elbows almost in the through swing. Let the club almost reset itself and get more vertical here. That's going to get the club head adding loft and scooping through the ball. Now, scooping might be a dangerous word, but we're really trying to increase that dynamic loft as we go through the hit. But we are going to be hitting down on the ball, and we are going to have at contact a fraction of shaft lean without doubt. We are going to get the club to feel like it gets overtaken. There's no handle dragging through the ball. Now, if we were going to do the handle dragging version, we're going to get low shots and shots that are going to release more. Obviously, if we're from a longer distance, we can still generate check with them with strike. Okay. But really what we're after here is the feeling of overtaking, even if it really happens post-impact. The feeling of this narrowness of the arms, almost spreading of the arms as we go through. Arms like spaghetti is often described as. The right hand particularly is going to overtake the left hand. The club is going to reset itself up. If you look at some olden day footage of people like Seve when they're hitting these shots, the shaft is really vertical a lot. As I said, if you look at someone like Jason Day, it'd be the opposite. It's very much more stiff and turned. And again, you can generate good spin with that probably from 50, 60 yards out. And with the right strike, and he has the ability to strike it good, you'll get some check from short range too. But you probably won't get the same zip as like a Garcia would do, which is more this style I'm showing you today. So the second point would be more about the radius of the swing. So I see far too many golfers, the radius would go into the ground, then the strike gets high in the face, and that reduces the spin and increases the launch. Also what happens then is they'll hit the ground before the ball generally, because the whole circle of the swing is under the ball rather than at the base of the ball. When you watch good pitches from this kind of range, there's hardly any divot. Now, if the lie's bad, they're going to adapt and change what they do, and so therefore the divot pattern will change. But ideal world, we want the radius to be high. So we want the stance narrow, the soft elbows, the overtaking, and the radius high. Now, I'm going to show you in a minute 2 drills that are going to help with these 2 things to help you practice to change your current action. Let's show you one that's pretty normal first. Okay, let's just demonstrate that softening effect that we've just been talking about. Pretty happy with that shot. Wouldn't want that one again. So the drill to achieve this will be to take your glove off, and this is pretty tough. I'm going to put this kind of just above your elbow, and if you first of all start with a few practice swings, and what we can try and do is keep that on the through swing. Now, it's quite easy to even drop it on the backswing. Ideally, I want to keep it for the whole journey, but if it does pop out in the backswing and stay in the way through, I'm okay with that. So this might not make the distance because I'm going to try and keep it in, so the backswing might just get a little bit too short and tight. You see the kind of look I got there. So I got it slightly clean. Again, I tried to force the rhythm because it felt uncomfortable, but it's a drill. The drills are all about changing what you do, not necessarily allowing you to do what you do well. It's about adapting, making you overdo something to get back to the normal reality. Now, the drill for the radius is going to be, again, tricky if your technique's poor. We've got the ball teed up here now, reasonably high. So we're going to attempt to just clip that ball off the tee without disturbing the tee. So we want to control our radius and raise our radius. So all the best pitchers elevate as they go through the ball. So this is encouraging the correct elevation, which then encourages the correct radius, which then encourages the correct strike. Again, that lower face strike, which gives us a lower launch, high spin naturally. And when I'm practicing, quite often I'll hit some thin ones because I'm trying to do this almost excessively, and I will thin a few pitch shots. And as I get warmed up, the strike gets better and better and better. And I don't mind that as, again, a protocol and an exercise. On the golf course, I hate it. So in the golf course, I'm going to make sure I get the strike as a premium, to be honest, because that's the biggest thing that's going to affect the ball. Let's just try a ball off this tee peg. Again, I got a 60-degree lob wedge here. I'm going to try and pick it off this tee peg nicely. Okay, pretty happy with that. Didn't disturb the tee. Got it, again, a fraction thin, fraction short in distance, but a fraction thin. But that's because I'm really trying hard to pick that off, and again, I want to demonstrate that for you guys more than anything else. So there we have it. You know, this is really, for me, the 3 most important things to generate spin on a pitch or a chip shot. Getting the overtaking action and the soft arms. Getting the feeling of the radius right or the elevation right to get the strike right. And also getting that kind of narrow stance to give you the opportunity to get that kind of the right strike and angle of attack to make sure we get that ball first contact. And the narrow stance gives us the right kind of control of our speed during the swing also. Again, we are looking for speed. You see a lot of golfers that struggle with pitches will be much slower with their technique through the ball rather than elite golfers. Elite golfers will have much more speed and acceleration and aggression, and they get the ball to stop up there pretty quickly. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please click like and share the video. Also, please comment. Please chat down below. Ask any questions you have and ask about videos for the future if you could. It really helps me. Lastly, if you haven't subscribed, hit my logo in this bottom corner. Join me on my journey. Let me help you improve your golf, lower your scores, and enjoy your golf more, hopefully. Lastly, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for joining me at the Forest of Arden. I hope to see you again here soon.